everything. I hope you were taking notes because I missed like half of that stuff. I was like listening.
Oh, I took notes. Also,
Good.
I'm looking at your live stream and it's offline right now.
It will be online in a moment. It's at
Yeah.
Stream Health Green.
See, so now I can see what it looks like. I'll just mute it.
Yeah, you could do that.
Oh.
I guess that means it's live now. Perfect. All right. So, welcome everybody to the D23 post show wrap up that we threw together literally 10 minutes ago and decided to do. There was just way too much news. I was going to do a video about Star Wars Land and then maybe a little Toy Story Land, but they just kept giving announcements and I felt like we were already G-chatting, so we had to talk about it to everybody.
I mean, I was taking notes too, because I was like, oh, I'll throw a video together.
Yeah.
And then you were like, well, we just stream it like immediately after.
Let's just do it right now. Let's just do it live.
Even better.
So
I don't know where to start. Can we start with Star Wars?
Let's start with Star Wars. It seems like the most obvious choice, right? So they announced this earlier today, but Bob Iger announced that there will be a Star Wars Land expansion in both Disneyland and in Hollywood Studios in Disney World, and they're both going to be 14 acres, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood Studios makes sense.
I'm trying to... So when I heard this, I actually heard it through a friend. He's at D23. He said he was at there, and I like typed something to him on Facebook and was like, I need theme park news. And then he was like, 14 acres Star Wars, both, theme parks. And I was trying to, in my mind, figure out how big 14
acres is? Yeah, I mean...
I have no idea. I'm sure it's pretty huge.
There's concept art of Toy Story Land. Let me see if I can pull it up right there. If that's 11 acres. Toy Story Land is going to be 11 acres. So imagine 3 more acres than that.
Oh,
and then,
yeah, easy.
I don't know. That's a pretty big. That's a big space, right?
That's pretty big.
That's exciting. I mean, I think we all predicted Star Wars Land obviously was coming to Hollywood Studios. They've been closing so much down, but I wouldn't have guessed a million years Star Wars Land would come to Disney. Like, that's such a small park. They're so space conscious.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it's not just closing stuff down. You can tell that they're like, people have been speculating where they're expanding out to. They've had like the plans for a while, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So 2 of the things that they said was going to happen is, one, this was before even this, was they said, one, there's going to be a ride. They didn't say which parks which is going to be in, but one where you can like pilot the Millennium Falcon. Did you see that? What? Like,
that's awesome.
Amazing.
My hope is it's more interactive than like a Mission Space, where that means push this button before a CG video takes over for you.
Yeah. And then the other thing said that they were going to put you in the middle of a battle.
Yes.
I feel like no matter which came to Disney World, I'd be happy because obviously, we go there more.
So my understanding was I thought both was coming to both.
Is that
like each park will have 2 headlining rides? There'll be those rides.
I heard it was one will be in one and one will be in the other. So maybe
that seems weird to me because then you have a whole new land with one ride.
No, there'll be other rides, but of those 2, one will be in Disneyland.
Interesting.
We'll have to factor.
We're gonna have to find out the details on that. Yeah. I thought it was both in both.
Yeah. And I also know Hyperspace Mountain is supposed to be Disneyland.
Hyperspace Mountain. Talk about that real quick.
So they said there's gonna now be what was the name of it? It's instead of like Star Wars Weekends, it's gonna be Season of the
here,
Force
I can
or
pull it up
something.
right now. Actually,
something like that.
I've got it right next to me. Season of the Force. Yeah.
Oh, good brain. So as part of that, they're going to theme Space Mountain as Hyperspace Mountain. So I guess think of it as like how they theme Haunted Mansion for like Halloween.
Right.
I guess it's going to be like that within a certain time frame of the year.
They theme it for Christmas, don't they?
That just sounds amazing.
That'll be great. I mean, and that's some smart thinking to use the property more than just like, let's build more rides. Like, yeah, theme it. That's cool. Bring the, people have asked in the past, do you think Disney should do more of that sort of like the Nightmare Before Christmas theming for other rides? And this is a perfect use of that.
If it's easily possible for them, why not, and then the other thing was the Disney World is going to have a new fireworks show set to Star Wars music.
That's cool.
Which when they said that, they were like, oh yeah, new fireworks show. And they were like, set to, the famous compositions. And I was like, oh my,
awesome.
Can you imagine how that's going to,
I also like that there's a lot of details that they're sort of leaving vague because it's based on Episode 7, which we haven't gotten yet. Like the climactic battle sounds like it's going to be a battle out of episode 7.
Probably. Likely. Yeah.
I heard that there's going to be a cantina.
Yes, I did hear that.
Awesome.
I was laughing because I was looking at they had the artwork, and somebody tweeted and was like, "Are you guys actually building life-size TIE fighters? Because I'm all for that." And I don't know, man. They have a huge AT-AT or AT-AT.
Yeah.
Want to say it in Hollywood Studios already, so why
not? I just want the cantina to have the booth with a little Greedo figure where you can sit in Han's position with a gun and do a photo op where you're shooting Greedo. I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got 14 acres of Star Wars coming to Disneyland, coming to Disney World. That's really awesome. I guess we're going to get more details as we go. I mean, they released all this cool concept art. I feel like the concept art's always beautiful, but not very representative of what it ends up looking like.
Sure.
This looks like, it looks like you're on a Star Wars planet right now. But it'll probably be really cool. And then they announced more for Hollywood Studios. They announced Toy Story Land, which is going to be 11 acres. And it's going to have a bunch of cool stuff there.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it because I think people thought it was just going to be Pixar Land, which would have been cool. You know, you can incorporate more movies.
Right.
Of course, I'm more biased to Toy Story of any other Pixar movie because that was it for us, you know, especially when we were kids. So I got a little excited when I heard it was Toy Story. They are doing a Little Green Aliens ride.
Yeah.
That was major. Made me think of our friend Keith Lapnig.
Yep.
Who is the biggest
Huge
Green
fan.
Alien fan, and apparently he was there, and he said he was a little loud when they announced that. So apparently you're supposed to be in flying saucers, and are you trying to go to the claw? I guess I assume that's the plan.
You know what I really like about the announcement of this land is that Toy Story is such a colorful franchise, and just looking at the concept art there, like the alien, it's gonna be so blue and green, and you just see all these colors pop, and I think that's gonna be some really cool theming. I'm really excited for. I'm trying to place from the concept art where this is, and I can't. I maybe they did that deliberately or because they don't want to lock that down, but
it's got to be obviously where
backlot.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be connected somewhere to where Toy Story Midway Mania already is.
Right, which they announced they're also adding a third track to that.
Smart. Yes. I mean, you got to do it. And then also the other thing was the Slinky Dog coaster.
Yes.
Which is like a family-friendly coaster.
Family-friendly coaster.
That's cool.
Which is fine.
I love those, yeah.
Hollywood Studios has Rock and Roller Coaster. It doesn't need another crazy thrill ride.
And I still appreciate them because usually they have great theming. So.
Yeah. This will be interesting. And, I mean, they had announced, yesterday that the plot of Toy Story 4 was going to be a love story between Woody and Bo Peep. So, I mean, it feels like, almost like Toy Story, I mean, we already knew they were going to do another Toy Story, but it really feels like they're giving the whole franchise another, a second life almost.
Sure.
And then they went on to talk about Animal Kingdom. And Animal Kingdom's got... I like how it was like a big reveal. Pandora, the world of Avatar. I thought Pandora would have just been fine on its own, but whatever. That's fine. They had, what's his face? James Cameron come out to talk about it.
Joe Rohde.
Yes. And it looks neat. It looks like more of what we already knew about a little bit.
Sure.
They showed the night show a bit.
Yes. What was that called? Rivers of Life?
That was the point where we decided we were going to live stream, and I started throwing all these graphics together really quickly.
Yeah, I wrote it down. River of Life. Rivers of Life. Also, wait. Can we go back from Avatar Land for a second and talk about the extended Kilimanjaro safaris?
Yes.
I think that's awesome. I like that they are adding hyenas and African wild dogs, which are also more able to stay out. They're nocturnal. They'll be out at night. So that gives people more of a reason to go at night and maybe to expand the park hours more, which looks like what they're trying to do.
That's their goal. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's awesome because you can go to Animal Kingdom at night, but it's like only, I guess it's probably in certain seasons, maybe in the winter season, right? Because it gets darker early. It's a very short, like a couple of months that you can experience that. But what I've heard is it's beautiful at night. And I feel like I'm really excited for them to extend hours and to be able to like see the park that way. I think that's going to be so cool.
And I wonder if strategically their plan is to extend the hours for Animal Kingdom to sort of pick up the slack from what I think the obvious logic is that Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land, it's going to be a couple of years before we start to see that. You know?
Yeah, which is why they're not even mentioning years. But exactly. I already told Rob, as soon as I hear a year, or even like a time frame, like summer of 2017, 2018, boom, I am booking a trip.
I will book it too. This is so much stuff. And to go back to Star Wars Land really quick, as somebody in the chat pointed out, they're adding new destinations to Star Tours. They're extending that, which is really surprising considering that just got refurbished recently over the past couple of years. But it makes sense. They're going to want to add stuff from Episode 7. That's really interesting. I mean, Hollywood Studios, I think by the end of these expansions, will rival, I don't want to say, they're not going to rival the Magic Kingdom, obviously.
No.
But it will be the most, it'll be the obvious second park of Disney World, you know?
I think it'll rival it in the more contemporary way, because Magic Kingdom has all of the classics, and that will never stop being loved by everybody.
Right.
But this will be like the rival contemporary park.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like other people said, they're really giving Universal a run for their money. Universal is probably going to either fast track or look to fast track their Nintendo deal and get something ready. Because Harry Potter, great, don't get me wrong, don't think it's going to be able to carry against Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land.
Once they're open, yeah, sure.
And then what else did we see?
I have some notes. I can go through them.
The rest of it was all like a lot of international stuff. That really blew me away because my thought from the business perspective is, oh my gosh, all the money on Toy Story Land, all the money on Star Wars Land, all the money on Pandora. Like, clearly this is it. This is like their big push for the next couple of years. They're not going to touch the other parks, but I'm wrong. And they're touching like everything except for Disneyland Paris, apparently.
Yeah. Which is having its 25th anniversary, which is crazy. That kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
10 years for Hong Kong. Like, these things have been open for a while. And it kind of, I won't lie, Shanghai made me, like, the whole thing with the castle, having a restaurant.
A ride underneath it?
Yeah, water ride underneath it. I was like, geez, I gotta find a way to get to Shanghai.
Yeah, the Tron coaster?
Yeah.
I mean, the Tron coaster looks weird.
Yes.
It's all concept footage, so I'm not, like, judging it before it's out. I'm interested in seeing how the final thing looks, because I have a very specific image of the Tron world, the grid. I'm blown my mind. Why haven't they announced that the music's going to be Daft Punk? Because they should be announcing that, because that should be the case.
Yeah.
Come on.
One would hope. But somebody, it was funny because we were watching a Periscope of it, and someone commented, oh, so I've learned that, you know, international is getting everything and America's getting shafted. And it was
Are you kidding me?
Well, but here's the thing. They're building an entire new park.
Yeah.
Of course they get all these cool new things because they're building it from scratch.
There's nothing. Literally everything must be new because it is a brand new park.
And I think I have never been so excited for new theme park stuff that they're announcing.
Every park is getting something except for Disneyland Paris.
You said in the chat, Soaring Around the World, which I was all for because I'm not the biggest Soarin' fan. I don't think you are the biggest Soarin' fan. And it has nothing to do with, like, I mean, the experience is fun and it's nice. I think they'll definitely get me to come back and kind of revisit my idea of it with a new movie. I think the updates would be fine. Like, I feel like when you go to it now, the screen, it's okay. You know, like, I don't know. It definitely needs updating.
Well, look, I just want to throw this out there. I did Revisiting Disney, where I pitched the idea of doing Soarin', but based on all of these nations around World Showcase. I'm not going to say specifically that Bob Iger watched my videos. That's where he drew this idea from, and he passed it on to Disney Imagineering, and they turned it into the Soaring Around the World. But I'm going to leave that all out there and let other people think what they want to think.
Sure.
I'm just gonna say.
Oh, I'll back that up.
I'm going to put my name underneath the ride the next time it's there, when it's there. That's all.
I'm trying to see if I have anything else. I think we
Pirates.
hit, oh, the Iron Man. Oh yes.
Oh, the Iron Man thing. Can we talk a little bit about the actual event?
Yeah, that was bizarre. Okay, first of all, the Stan Lee cameoing the event was great. I thought that was fantastic
funny.
how they did that.
Yeah.
But then they brought out, so I think everyone thought Robert Downey Jr. was going to come out.
And when you tease an audience 3 separate times and then like stop them, obviously the payoff needs to be Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
But it was a guy in an Iron Man suit with, I guess, a scripted, auto-timed
Robert Downey
speech
Jr.
impersonator voice. And it was out of sync.
Talking to.
Yeah, but out of sync.
Yeah. That was all very bizarre.
It was like what a glitch in the Matrix would probably feel like if it actually happened. But the ride, like you said, I didn't actually think about it until you pointed it out. It seems like Disney's answer to like the Spider-Man ride.
Sure, which is it's held up quite a lot of years actually. It's still a pretty fun ride.
Yeah.
I think obviously now it's going to be what I said is going to be Spider-Man on steroids because now we have new technology and you just know Disney's going to really theme it out.
They own ILM. I mean, everything's going to look beautiful now.
Yeah, so that's really exciting for Disneyland. I guess a reason for us to go back again after this upcoming weekend. So,
Absolutely. Pirates Hong Kong, they're getting a whole area.
Yeah, that's
dedicated to pirates.
Yeah, that I was a little jealous of. Not gonna lie.
Again, that's the sort of thing where it made me realize, like, yeah, I knew they were making another Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think they announced that Orlando Bloom's coming back for another one. Mm-hmm. So, like, it feels like they're just giving a whole new life to Pirates of the Caribbean as a series.
Yeah.
And then what was the other thing I had on my? We didn't hear anything Marvel related for Disneyland, which I'm a little surprised about.
I thought that was the Iron Man thing. Wasn't that Marvel?
No, I think that's Hong Kong.
Oh.
I believe that was Hong Kong, that the Iron Man was in Hong Kong
it was
Disney.
Disneyland. Because they were saying we've been talking about bringing Marvel to Disneyland for 2 years.
Maybe it was? Again, I was throwing this whole presentation together. Hold on, we're going to look this up while you talk about... Did you see the Star Wars launch bay?
No.
Oh, then you can't talk about it.
I can't talk about it.
No,
Wait,
it was Hong Kong Disneyland. It was Hong Kong Disneyland that is getting the Iron Man thing. I would have thought they would have tried to put Marvel in Disneyland to compete with Universal a little bit and get some Marvel representation in the United States. But I guess they don't want to do that yet.
With buying land over there, you never know.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely. Lots of awesome news. Like, I'm really psyched.
Me too. I mean, I'm psyched, but then you realize it's like one of these things where it's like, here's this huge announcement. You will probably not get to see any of this stuff in person for like 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. But you know what? Time flies. I still remember the morning I read the news that they were buying Star Wars and that they were going to make a movie. And now we're just a couple months away from the movie coming out. And so it won't be long before this is happening. And what is really exciting is that this is going to bring a lot of new, fresh stuff to all of these parks right as Iger's leaving as CEO. Because if you think about it, this is 3 or 4 years. Iger signed on to 2018? Which is like another 3 years away. Yeah. So he might be leaving just as all this stuff starts to open up. And it'll be interesting to see whoever takes over the reins. And I believe the common theory is that it's going to be Tom Staggs, how they run with this and what this means. And do we see even more expansions? You know, somebody in the chat said that Marty Sklar accidentally let it slip that somebody's in charge for the next stage of Epcot. And I mean, that's the obvious next thing for Disney World to improve upon.
Sure.
I guess we're sort of seeing that. That's what I wanted to talk about. Because everyone groaned when it was brought up. And you know what? I want to talk about it. Frozen. They showed a little bit more of the Frozen attraction in Epcot. And it looks neat. They got the original songwriters, right, to work on music for their attraction.
I will say the character stuff they were working on looks great.
Looks neat.
Really realistic.
Looks fun. And it'll hopefully sort of usher in a new era of Epcot. And there's a whole other topic of discussion for another time about what that should be and whether that's good or bad. But it's interesting news. And if you had come to me yesterday and said they're going to have a full, hour and a half presentation about the Disney parks, I would have thought there's no way there's that much content. But there is. And that really excites me to know that Disney's willing to put this much effort and money into the theme parks.
Yeah. You know? They haven't been forgotten about. I mean, people think so because it's like, everything closed in Hollywood Studios and this isn't as good anymore. And it's like, they have plans. I mean, it's just now is the right time to announce
Exactly.
it, you know?
This was a perfect sort of information dump, and now we've got all of that to look forward to and sort, and we'll see it. It'll be staggered, right? We'll get Avatar Land first, then we'll probably get Star Wars stuff, and then Toy Story stuff, and so on and so forth, and it'll keep us full with information for a while.
Soaring Around the World is already coming next year, they said.
Next year, so. Yep. We're getting a restaurant, Jungle Cruise restaurant.
Wait, what?
Oh, you didn't hear the news?
You're making that up.
No, this was announced, actually, this wasn't announced at the conference that we were watching. This was announced before it. Let me pull up the news report right here. This will be what we end on. But, yes, the Jungle Cruise, one of Magic Kingdom's most popular attractions, has delighted guests for years, and it was just announced that the Jungle Cruise fans will have even more oh, come on, this is all filler. Come on. Okay. The Jungle Navigation Company, Ltd. Skipper Canteen Restaurant opens in Adventureland. And this will be late 2015. Oh, yeah, late 2015. This year. It's coming out this year.
I mean, they're opening up that Indiana Jones bar this fall, too, in downtown Disney, or Disney Springs, as it's called now. I mean, which I'm crossing my fingers is open by the time we go. I might not be. But that's awesome. I had no idea that was happening.
Yeah. So lots of cool changes coming to all the Disney parks. I would love to hear from everybody in the comments section or in the chat what you're looking forward to the most, what you think is going to be the coolest. The Star Wars stuff, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I can't wait to fly the Millennium Falcon.
I know.
That's going to be so cool.
I texted my brother, he's older than me. He's 34 years old, so really, really into Star Wars. And I sent him the link, and I said, I'm booking this trip.
Yeah.
And you were coming with me. Like this is I have not been so excited for a new theme park edition in a long, long time.
Yeah, so this is going to be really exciting. We're going to go on the new extra revised Star Tours, and I'm still going to get the same 3 planets that I got last time. And that trend will continue.
I jinx you.
Yeah, you jinx me forever. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. This was thrown together really last second. Again, anybody in the chat, in the comments, I want to hear your thoughts on this. This is awesome. I'm just going to go be excited.
Me too.
You know what's the best part, Christine? This is the event where you're like, man, this is all great. I wish I could go to Disney. And guess what? We're doing it next week. We're going to Disneyland.
In 7 days.
We're going to Disneyland. Let's get all that information out there, actually. Yeah. So we're going to be periscoping from Disneyland. You can follow me at Rob Plays. You can follow Christine at IvyWinterYT. We're also both on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Rob Plays That Game. You're on Instagram as
Just Ivy Winter.
Just Ivy Winter. We're going to be doing a fan meetup in Disneyland on Saturday the 22nd at 1 p.m.
1 week.
At the castle. That's a week away. From a week from now, we will be at Disneyland. That is exciting.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody have a great week. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. And I hope to see you next time for the next, whenever the next Disney live stream is, maybe next year, next D23?
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.